Welcome back. You're watching Live from Paris. It's time now for a look at what the press, the blogs and the tweets are saying here in France. Nicolas Rushworth is here with tonight's Media Watch. Good evening to you, Nick.
Good evening, Laura.
Let's talk about the former French President Nicolas Sarkozy, because apparently he's recreated his old office at the Élysée in his new place, also in Paris.
Well, that was on the France Inter radio station this morning, and the report was he's done it lock, stock and barrel. All the personal items and some of the furniture he's recreated in his offices, and it's been taken up by the Europe 1 radio station blog Le Lab. And here you can see there the headline, Nicolas Sarkozy a reproduit son bureau. He's duplicated it. And if we just click there onto him, we can see a picture of him in that office there. We're just having technical glitches ourselves there with those pictures.
Do you think he's still pretending he's the president?
Well, I mean, maybe it's a way for him to ease the pain a little bit. That's perhaps maybe going too far. But the state accords him...
It's a very nice office, isn't it?
7 members of staff in his new offices, paid for by the state. And he has 11 rooms. And clearly he seems to want to recreate his moment in power, those 5 years in power. So the radio station France Inter was saying that he wanted everything to be in the same position. And his team... There we can see his new offices, which is just off the Champs-Élysées in the 8th arrondissement. And apparently his team is, feeding him the same round of memos and notes and ideas and so on. So he's obviously...
he can pretend he's still running the country, even if he's not. All right, well, he's on holiday at the moment, isn't he? He's in Canada, and with everything that's going on back here in Paris, he might want to stay there a bit longer.
Well, he's come under pressure, hasn't he, because there's been raids on his office and his home earlier this week, and there are certain scandals going on for him, and one of them is with the website Mediapart, which it's reporting now about events in... to do with Libya. Now,
right, because this is all about, let's just remind the viewers what this is all about. There are lots of various affairs going on at the moment, and most of them are related to alleged illegal campaign funding, and this is another one of those. Not only is he accused of taking money from the L'Oréal heiress Liliane Bettencourt, there's also reports that he took money from Libya as well.
Well, the website Mediapart was very in the forefront of this investigation into the scandal over Bettencourt. We can see their website here, Sarkozy Gaddafi, and that's... it's following up on that, saying that there's actually now an investigation into the Libyan side. Did he take 50 million euros for his campaign in 2007? Now, Mediapart is saying today that the former Prime Minister of Libya is going to be questioned in Tripoli about that. So Sarkozy is coming under pressure from various sides. You've got to remember that it was on June 15th that his presidential immunity ended. Obviously, during the summer, perhaps we'll see a lot more about those various affairs or scandals, as we like to call them.
All right, now another thing that's got journalists writing here in France is, of course, 50 years of independence for Algeria. France having to come to terms with its difficult colonial history, and celebrations going on in Algeria. France, of course, not invited.
Well, that's being taken up by the press in Algeria and France. France not invited, and I saw this cartoon in Liberté, which is the Algerian paper, and there we can see it. It's actually done by 2 cartoonists, and it's saying 50 years after reconciliation, and if we just scroll down slightly, we can see it's actually by Plantou, who's the Le Monde cartoonist, and Dilem, and it's there, basically in the cartoon, it's saying, à toi de faire le premier pas, 2 blokes, one on side of each side of the Mediterranean, and of course, you take the first step towards reconciliation between France and Algeria. But of course, when you read it closely, of course, that means they're actually going to step in the water of the Mediterranean. Is that a question of sink or swim for them?
Yeah. And there's been some tweeting going on about that all day, hasn't
Well,
there?
there's tweeting here. I think basically that there's this, one of the facts I learned today was that 80% of Algerians are under 50, so they were not aware of events of the Franco-Algerian War.
They're more worried about the economy, aren't they? Because there is rampant unemployment in Algeria, particularly for young people.
And that's reflected in the tweet here. Certains Algériens fêtent l'indépendance when they don't know that it's actually happened. So certain Algerians are celebrating an event when they don't really know the events surrounding it.
Because 1.5 million Algerians died in this war, of course, according to official figures.
Well, let's go to this other tweet here. Algeria is celebrating 50 years with a feeling of something not achieved. So obviously there was enormous bloodshed, but the potential for Algeria 50 years ago was massive. Oil, petrol, we learnt over the decades. It could have been a regional power, and a lot of the articles I've been going through today are reflecting this idea that something has not been lived up to in Algeria, and there are issues to do with human rights, housing and education, the freedom of the press, and so on.
All right, Nick, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Nick Rushworth with Media Watch. Time now for web news, including people being tricked into thinking that a polar bear has been roaming the streets of London. Take a look. It's web news.